Hello, everybody. Welcome to Silent Podcast, the place for everything but silent. I'm your host, Isaiah, and we're here with a late night recording for Sunday's episode, and just I guess this past week of Big Brother because we were not able to all get together the other day. So I'm here with the panel once again to talk about some fun stuff. I'm here with Josie Ann, the Don.
Hey, sorry, I'm like
Josie Ann,
fixing
what's
my hair in the
going on?
middle of this call, but I'm good. You know what? I tweeted this earlier in the episode, but I said this is like a good season so far. It's messy, it's drama filled. I know that I had somewhat of the same sentiments last season, and then we had Jag kind of ruin it for me. So here's to hoping that this doesn't happen
All
again.
right. We're also back with Janelle the Don. Janelle, what's
Hey
going on?
guys, nothing much. I'm excited to talk about all the players. It's been a lot of interesting things going on since the last time we did this. So,
All right. And we're also back with Katie the Don.
Hi,
Katie. We're back. How you doing, Katie?
I'm good. We have the Sunday Scaries version of this podcast, but I'm ready. These house guests have given us a lot to talk about this week, so I'm excited to be here.
All right. And you're back with me, Isaiah. And hopefully you're back with us for the whole season. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And if you're listening, 5 stars only. We don't need any of that other junk. All right. So it's been a very eventful past couple of days, obviously. Last time we were here, this house was completely flipped upside down. And obviously we're not going to spend way too much time on everything, but there's a whole lot of chaos that's happened since then. So I guess how's everyone feeling about the trajectory of this season now since the last time we've spoken? Anyone can hop in.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I know there's been a lot of comparison of Tucker to the winner of last season of Big Brother, but I don't feel like it's the same situation, really. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I know there's a lot of discourse about like the comp beast of it all, but I think the gameplay is chaotic. I think we have a lot of people that don't know what they're doing, but they're actually giving us some fun things to watch instead of just like boring steamroll. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I really don't know who's going to take it at this point, which is kind of exciting.
yeah,
Go for it, Janelle.
sorry, I was going to say, yeah, I can agree. While there are some players that I feel like are more capable, I don't have the feeling that even those capable players are gonna run away with it because things have changed so much. Some things need to be happening for them to do better. Some players need to be shuffled. They need to get some new allies. So while I might have had a inkling before, I definitely don't now. No clue.
I mean, I've said it in previous podcasts, but I think the main thing for me was that we needed lines to be drawn, and they're drawn. It just had to unfortunately be Cedric. So I feel as though the game is not set. We'll talk about it, I guess, when we're talking about the players, but I don't know. I feel like another flip may be brewing depending on what happens. So it'll be interesting. And I think the season isn't predictable. I know that Tucker, being somewhat of a comp beast early on in the game, is Jag-esque. I wouldn't compare the two because Jag got evicted. Tucker has not.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like Tucker is playing for himself, whereas sometimes I felt like Jag was playing for 2-3 people at times. And also again got evicted. So I wouldn't compare the two, but yes, it's exciting.
I don't think he's a Jag or anything. All the comps are equitable. But I mean, it's really anyone's game because if that's the case, then I guess Angela is becoming a new Jag too. In this case, right? So here we go. But without further ado, we're trying to make this not like 3 hours like last time, right? I feel like most of our discourse is going to be spent during this little ranking. This is more like a midweek check-in replacement for this week. So I guess we can start ranking now and see how we feel from there. So, Katie, share it.
Okay.
We should start with top, up, down instead of
Should
going to the
we?
bottom.
I know, Janelle, you gave some feedback about just starting from scratch. Should we start from scratch? Because I feel like a lot of these people are going to be moving all over the place.
Yeah, let's just put them all at the bottom. Because
Okay.
Wait, no.
Yes,
I want to.
yes.
No, I
No,
like to have
that's fine.
something to work off of.
We're gonna work from the bottom.
All right. I have a hard. I like to see where they were, so
No,
it can
forget
make.
where they were.
That's crazy.
I
Nah.
personally agree with Isaiah. I know I don't say that sentence a lot, but
I don't know.
I
my
misunderstood. I thought you were saying work from the bottom to the top. I didn't know
No,
we
I
were
meant,
taking them
like-
off.
No, my friend tuned in and she was like, I didn't know where y'all were. You were leaving people, moving people. I just thought it's easier to follow for people tuning in if we move them up to where we rank them each time. But if that's not what you guys want, that's fine.
no, we can remove
I have
that.
an
It's
idea.
fine.
Well, I have an idea. Katie, are you able to download what it looks like and then have it on the side? Or is that doing too much?
I think I can do it.
Yeah,
Give me
do
one
that.
sec.
Yeah,
Okay.
do that.
Talk amongst
Because
yourselves.
I
No,
like
I'm
to,
just
you
gonna
know
take a
what I'm saying?
screenshot. Can I just take a screenshot?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't care.
yeah,
I like to have
let's-
like data. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I want to see what other people are saying in the chat then in this time. Okay, before I say anything this season, but Tucker frustrates me. He's so annoying. Production loved this man. He got condoms in the HOH basket. Crodner wants so badly. I don't know. I find it really interesting that people are so like in love with Tucker. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that he's like a bad player or anything like that. But I just feel like there are a lot of things that Tucker does that I feel like people have hated on in other previous seasons. So I find it interesting that he's different. I don't know if it's because he started at the bottom, and so people were more open to him, whereas his archetype usually maybe is always in the top. What are your thoughts on Tucker? Janelle, especially you, because I feel like it's fluctuated so much.
Yeah, and I will say on the Facebook scheme of things, they love this man. Tucker's playing the game. Tucker's shaking up the game. So I just think it's that the love for Tucker is because he's throwing a wrench in a steamroll from Chelsea and her crew. I think that they like that he's winning. I think that they like that he's unpredictable. I think they like that he's doing whatever the hell he wants, whether smart or not. So I think the like for Tucker comes strictly from the chaos Tucker is causing. And for some of them idiots, he's the only one playing the game, whether good or bad. I'm still hot and cold on him. There's so many aspects of his personality that I really enjoy, that I think are funny, that he's very, very unhinged. I think that he doesn't have the best mind for the game, but some things he'll say, and I'm like, well, but he's not an idiot either. So I feel like I'm still 50-50 shaky ground. Am I rooting for a Tucker to win? Absolutely not. I am here for the day that man is backdoored. Like, I'm seething for it. So I'm still like 50-50. Sometimes I like him. Sometimes I'm like, oh, shut up, Tucker.
And we got
Sorry,
it.
had to remake it, but we're here.
I love it.
Oh wait, do we have the other one or no?
I have a screenshot. Do you want me to send it to you?
Sure.
I think he was trying to do like a split screen moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
I
it's
don't
just
know
like-
how to do that. You could do that if you
Don't
want to
worry.
do that. I don't know how to do that, Isaiah.
Yeah, let me get it. Let me get it.
All right.
I
All right.
Sorry, I'm being
We're doing it
difficult.
live. We're doing it live.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
Listen,
Katie,
I
do
don't
you
care.
like Tucker?
I think Tucker's interesting to watch. I think he's fun to watch. I'm kind of in the same boat as not necessarily rooting for a Tucker win, but I don't want Tucker to leave anytime soon because I think he's keeping the house very interesting. Like, I think if he left earlier in the season, we would have seen maybe more of like a large alliance steamroll situation. So he's really like making things happen with people who weren't super involved in the game before. Like, this new alliance, I think, is exciting. I'm excited to see what they do. I think Joseph has come out of his shell a little bit, which you could talk about when we get to him. But I think a lot of that is due to Tucker and everybody kind of aligning with and relying on Tucker. I think Tucker is way overplaying his hand, and I think he needs to. I mean, I don't think he has an option now at this point to start throwing comps because everybody knows that he's a comp beast. So, we'll see what happens to him. But I'm enjoying the time with him while he's in the house.
I think this is the first time in a season where I don't really know where people as in Twitter. You know what? I'm gonna be frank. Twitter is the community I read for y'all, regardless of some of the things I see sometimes. But it's hard for me this time to kind of get like a pulse on like what people like. Like I think I saw a lot of sentiments today about how people don't like Chelsea, which kind of gagged me because I was like, "Ooh, y'all really don't like her," and I had like no idea. I felt like I was just saying it, but then I felt like, some people love and hate Angela, some people love and hate Quinn. Like I just never. Some people love and hate Tucker, Takor. I feel like this cast is so polarizing.
Yes,
like there
totally.
isn't one hero amongst us. To a degree, or like
I'm gonna try
aside.
that.
Here we go.
This is the
Okay.
pause. This is dangerous. Are we fine?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm good.
Now that I know what we're doing, I'll be more prepared next time. But like, this is something for now. But I need to at least see where they were last time, because we're like, what clean slate is crazy. No, absolutely not.
Josie, to respond to what you said, I think a lot of the dislike for Chelsea came before the season even started. From what I know, I can fill you in on that later. That's a lot, and I still see people comment they refuse to like her because of all things outside, blah 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 blah. And can we respond? Moses said something in here that I wanted to respond to.
Okay. Oh God, let me get started.
I don't know where it went.
Ooh.
All right, we might as well just hop into it.
We're a mess. We're not used to Sundays.
No, it is what. All right, so listen, with all this Tucker conversation, we can start with Tucker, and it kind of works anyway because Tucker, as you see, was at the bottom last time.
Can you please center that dead in the water? It's killing me to look at. Sorry.
Oh my God.
No, you're real for that, Katie. You're real.
I can't do it.
Is this fine?
Right sure. Great. Perfect.
No, the D needs to, come on. And then the
God.
Perfect.
Good.
All right. So
we have to show you guys.
So we kind of started talking about I personally just in these colors are throwing me off, so give me a second real quick. But Tucker, for me, I feel like obviously, as you guys were kind of already saying, he's still in a pretty bad position. But I feel like Tucker is actually in a lot better of a position than he was last time. You guys have already thrown him in dead in the water last time, understandably, but I think Tucker has put in the legwork to kind of come up with like this like group almost that he's kind of like the head of. And I feel like he, as of right now, where like Chelsea and Brooklyn kind of were last week, I think he's kind of the figurehead of this group this week. It kind of reminds me of a Big Brother 6 situation or a Big Brother 20 situation, where this is almost like what was the group called? The Hive or Falte or something, but like slightly more successful. You know what I'm saying? So you said one more time?
I said icons.
Icon, yeah, icons. So but yeah, I do see if there's like a block situation. First of all, I think last week we were kind of talking about like, comps don't really matter in the long haul. I still do think this season has shown more than anything that comps is very important. I think that Tucker is going to be a shield, as Jermaine is saying in the chat, for a lot of people. And I think Tucker right now kind of controls the conversation of the majority group in the house right now. I know Takor and Chemo can theoretically jump ship to ship again, but I feel like they're too afraid to do that again because this is all they got. If they were to try to jump ship again, their game will be completely over. And I don't think they're going to do that. So I think Tucker,
I think it's almost over for them.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait to get to them. But because listen, but Tucker for now, in my opinion, it is like a C for a bottom C. I'm not going to give him a huge jump, but he's not dead in the water. He's like literally choosing who goes. Rubina is dumb loyal to this guy. I think Angela is dumb loyal to this guy. And Chemo is still infatuated with Tucker. Takor can't really do anything about it because she put all her eggs in the Chemo basket, and Chemo wants to work with Tucker. And I think Leah also is down to work with Tucker. So it's like this is Tucker's side right now, and he is the head of this snake, and I'm curious to see how it goes. You know, but how do you guys feel about Tucker?
I'd put him in. If I moved him anywhere, it would not be higher than a D. That's me personally. Moses said, "I'm sick of Tucker and his minions." I think it is. If you can't beat him, join him. That's what I think this is. I don't think that some of those people necessarily want to be all in with Tucker, but it's kind of like if this man keeps winning, I want to be on that side so I don't get sniped. I still think he's unpredictable. I still think his reads, for the most part, are trash unless he has somebody else influencing them. I still don't think he's gonna win, but I could be wrong. I don't think he's a good player. He's just a well-rounded competition person, which puts him in power, which puts people wanting to flock to him. So
I will say, oh, sorry.
That's all. That's it.
The one thing I will say is go on, I was gonna say.
I was just gonna say, what are his bad reads? I just want an example for context.
Tucker?
Yeah.
Everything. I feel like all his reads are terrible. Like he went off on Quinn because he just automatically assumed that Quinn was the one that trashed all his stuff. He later said it was an act, but I don't believe him. I believe that was convenient once everybody was like, I don't think that was Quinn, Tucker. I don't know. I just think that his perspective is always off.
I think from a game perspective, Tucker's reads are kind of not spot on, but the Brooklyn read is 1,000% correct. And that's the most important thing, is that his sights are not solely set on Quinn, and he's going after the person he should be going after this week and not getting Quinn in his sights and just like continuing this rivalry. He's ready to, I think he's ready to still go after Quinn when the time comes, but he knows Quinn is not the threat here, that Brooklyn is. And Chelsea is also the head of the snake, but Brooklyn, the way that she handled herself this week, and we'll talk about it when we get to her, like he has the absolute right read, and I think he's bringing the absolute right people together. And whether they stay loyal to him or not, it's working for him right now. And I think that all these people with him, maybe other than Joseph, don't have any other option, which I think puts Tucker in a really good situation for people to protect him in the event that like Cam wins a comp next week if he stays. Like Tucker is going to protect his people at this point because he needs to in order to stay. So I actually think he should at least move up to C. I don't think any higher than C, but I think he's definitely taken himself out of bottom of D for sure.
Yeah,
you were going to say something. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Janelle. I'll let you say. I was going to say that with the conversation last week where I think you said Moses said something about like Tucker and his minions. That's a very interesting like sentiment because like it used to be Chelsea and her minions, and Chelsea was like at the top.
Correct.
Tucker literally last week, everyone was ready to put him in the dead in the water because he was dead in the water. No one seemed to want to work with him. And now he's like the head of like the majority alliance and everyone's doing what he wants. He's like, if they go for Angela, they're coming after me. And Angela's dumb loyal to him. Rubina is dumb loyal. Like there's so many people who are just loyal to this guy because he's doing the thing that a lot of us have been asking him players to do for a long time, which is don't appease the majority, grab the people at the bottom and do something. And I'm not going to give him credit for what Takor and Chemo did. But Takor and Chemo were more trustworthy in this side than the other group who, honestly, in my opinion, they should have stuck with. I know that they weren't in no Pentagon or whatever. Like I said, we'll get to them when we get to them. But Chemo trusted this guy with alliance information. Chemo's been leaking stuff to this guy all season, and he's just, I think he's personally just getting to the personal side of people, and it's just working because he's not fake. He's just a real guy, I just think it's working. I'm not saying like skyrocket, but like if it was him and like other people next week, I actually don't think he will leave yet. Like I think there's more benefit. And he put up Brooklyn and Chelsea, the biggest people, and I think Quinn's about to drop his back.
He didn't put up Chelsea yet.
He's about to do. He's going to, I think. And if he saves Quinn, I think Quinn's going to get off his back a little bit too. So I don't know. And guy keeps winning competitions. I'm seeing a good trajectory. You know what I'm saying?
Can I make a
But
note for the future?
yeah,
I'm really interested to see how it's going to go when someone in Tucker's crew wins and he doesn't have sole control, because just how he handled the Cedric situation and what he thought was best and where he thought the game should go. I'm really interested how he's going to handle one of his people winning and not having sole control, and what if they don't want to do what he thinks is best. I'm super interested to see that dynamic and how Tucker is going to handle that, because I feel like he's going to want control, and I wonder what that's going to look like.
he might crash out. I
Um,
ain't gonna hold you. I don't think he's a good social player by any means, but I think he's his moves strategically have been just straight up to the point where it's benefited certain people and they just trust him.
Mhm.
Well, we'll see. I fully agree with that. He might be a crash out. All we know, right? But we're just gonna have to wait until that time comes. But as of right now, at least, I do think he should raise up just a little bit. But that's just me.
Me too.
I I just wanted to touch on Tucker for a moment. I do agree that he should be in C tier. I think Tucker is playing the best game that he can. I think he spent the last week and this week solidifying his numbers to be in a better position, which is all we can ask for. And with this HOH, I think, you know, we'll talk about how other people are reacting to his HOH, but on a standard level, like he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Like I literally have no notes. I think he was able to call up certain people's BS. I do think he sounds sometimes a little entitled to get information that he doesn't necessarily need to know. Like him being like, Chelsea, you can't, you're lying to me. Like, da, 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 da. I'm giving you the opportunity. Like, first of all, how are they supposed to know that everyone and their mother sold them out to the river? And then he's
Mhm.
talking like in a manner that's like, I have the right to know the fact that there's an alliance that I am not in. No, you don't. You have that information, move forward. That attitude is, I think, what bothers me about Tucker and what I think can be his demise, because he's not entitled to things. He's not entitled to Cedric's nominations. He's not entitled to know everything under the sun. I think that can cause him hot water. And I'm just interested, to your point, what happens when he's not in power or his alliance members are not in power. And also, I shared the sentiment last season, but I think Big Brother has evolved more towards a competition, and that comps matter way more than they used to, in my opinion. And I think that's due to time, and obviously competitions hold power. But I feel like a lot of the time we lose that social aspect, that strategic aspect, which now allows people who aren't necessarily strong socially, like Tucker, in my opinion, to kind of thrive like a Jack. So, I'll give him a C because I like the tier based off like gameplay and social positioning. And I don't feel like really he has stuff like actual solid things, because he just keeps winning competitions and people, I think, fear him more than necessarily want to be aligned with him.
That's what I think.
All right, so
I just think the
bottom.
sorry, Isaiah, just the move last
There you
week, I think you could put him in C. I think we all probably, maybe other than Janelle, agree that
That's
he should be
fine.
in C. But I think, the move last week to flip on Cedric and take out and save Rubina and take out Cedric benefited Tucker the most out of everybody. And it wasn't even
Correct.
Tucker's move. Like, it put him in such a good spot, at least temporarily. I don't know how long it's going to last, but like, for us to leave him where he's at, I think would be a mistake, just because he's in probably the best spot out of many people right now. He's upper tier in the week in terms of like who's in a good spot. I'm not saying he's an upper tier player for sure. I think he's a little messy still, but I think right now he's got the people around
He's
him.
in
They all
C.
flocked right to him.
He's in C because of circumstances. C for
Yeah.
circumstances. Haha.
C for
No
circumstances.
pun intended. Like it wasn't off his own merit, and I think that's
Right.
why he deserves the placement that he's getting.
Right. I agree.
Lastly, this, and then we'll move on because we spent a lot of time on him. Can Tucker win from week 2 and win the game? This will be a bitter jury for sure. I don't think he can win out. I don't think he'll need to at certain points, but it'll be interesting. I don't think he's going to win at all, to be honest. But if anything, bitter wise, I don't really see this being a bitter jury towards Tucker because he's really straight up to a lot of these
Honest.
people. He's not really fake where
Yep.
like I think people will respect that a lot more than like people like Chemo who lie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to each their own, but we'll have to see if he's even. I'm shocked he might make jury at this point, Joseph. So you know that
I
He
mean,
might be in. I guess we don't know when jury's starting officially, right?
yeah, we don't know.
well, just to add on to that point, I just feel like because of the BB arena, it gives him literally 3 chances to be safe.
Yeah, I was gonna say
HOH,
the same
POV,
thing.
and
Yeah.
BB arena. And I've said that the backdoor no longer exists when the BB arena is in play. So he can't be backdoored. He will always play a competition, whether he's HOH, he wins the HOH comp, or he's picked for veto, or he's on the block. So I do think it's possible for him to win out because we have seen people just like win, and he's won 3 POVs in a row. So like,
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next person. Only a few players I feel like will have a big discourse like this, but he's definitely one of them. Next is Angela. I personally think Angela is going to be here for a while now. That players like
Same.
her is like you just if you don't get her out early enough, she's just going to be like block fodder for a while, and she can easily she's feeling like a Victoria from BB16. She's just kind of here. I don't think she's going to win at all, to be real with you, but I think she's going to just be floating along until it's her time. You know, she could be like a Felicia too. Felicia was great, but like I don't think Felicia had any chance of winning unless like certain things happen. You know, like and that's okay. You know, I this cast doesn't really seem to care or like Angela that much outside of like Tucker. But I look, that's great feeds for us, great TV. We'll see how long she's here. I think she's like a Rennie. She's just like a character at this point. But Angela, there you go.
I don't think she has a 0 chance.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't
anyone in
agree
this
with that
cast has a
sentiment.
0 chance. I don't think anyone here has a 0 chance. But like, if I'm being realistic, I'm just like Angela. Like her walking up to the lines to be like, guys, can I work with you? And seeing all their faces, I
And
was just
she's
like,
in it now.
oh,
And
yeah,
I
she
love
is.
the hood.
It
That's what I'm
worked.
saying.
Mhm.
But I don't think anyone takes her serious enough to vote her to win. But we're talking weeks from now, so obviously I'm not putting too much in that. I'm gonna put her in D still, but like slightly higher than bottom. But there you go. How you guys?
I think for Angela, she's I think proving herself to be a we'll see how she feels for the rest of the week because I know she was questioning a couple of things. I don't know if that was yesterday or when, but you know, she put in some work. She was listening in the bathroom. She was making it so like MJ and Brooklyn couldn't hold court. She left her mic in there so she could go back in and bring back information to Tucker. Like she's putting in work as an alliance member, as an ally, and she's already won 2 HOHs. Nothing's impossible. I mean, if she can prove her worth, she's playing. It's not like she's just sitting around not playing. Like she's trying and she's playing and she has the motivation. I think it's just a matter of like her staying calm and not blowing anything up. If she can just like chill and actually play a little bit, maybe people might realize that she, like I've been saying since literally like week 2, she's a number and she's an asset. So people should bring her in. And now she's finally in. So now let's see what she does now that she's in something.
I just don't see Angela as a threat anymore. I think Benjamin said it about the point about like her potential to win. She is no Victoria. She's won 2 competitions. She's this player in the house who's won the second most amount of comps. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due.
Let's go.
I think she has the potential of being kind of like Karen from BB Can 5, who made it to final 2. She didn't win, but she made it quite far, and she did her own thing, and she stands up for herself. I definitely think she's learned from the previous weeks, and she's faded more into the background. That's not to say that she's not completely there either, but I like the fact that she takes initiative. Instead of sitting there and being like, why won't anyone include me? Like some players in this house are doing, she goes out of her way to stand up and goes, can I be a part of this? I like the boldness, and it works with who she is as a person, and it's just fine for them to be like, oh, it's just Angela. And they've included her. Technically, she was in that alliance before Joseph was. I know we'll get to him, but she kind of fought for her place and kind of is technically above. I'm not going to say above Joseph because he has his own things going on, but I do think that that initiative is incredible, and I don't think we've seen something like it yet. And I think that can put her, edge her out in comparison to other people. And I do think she has potential to thrive. But I agree with everything you said, Katie, 100%.
Yeah, she's gonna be like for me. She's gonna be like last season's Bowie Jane. She's gonna get in with the crew. She's obviously
Now. That's not fair, Janelle.
Bowie
I
Jane
agree.
was-
I agree.
That is
I
not
agree.
fair.
Bowie
I
Jane
don't.
could
I
just
don't think
I
so.
agree,
crazy.
Janelle.
let
I
me
agree,
not
Janelle.
Bowie
I
Jane.
do.
I
Go ahead,
mean
Janelle.
Bowie Jane as far as getting in, being loyal, and riding with that, no matter if she can beat those people in the end or not. I'm not saying Bowie Jane. She got in with Jag and Matt. She stayed with them. Nobody could sway her away from them. And she wanted to ride with them to the end. She was all in. That's what I mean as far as Angela. She's in with a Tucker. I don't know who else will join that for her, but I could see her getting in with somebody and being taken to the end just like that. Bowie Jane won. Angela's won. Angela has more initiative. Absolutely. I think that she's just going to get in with somebody and ride to the end. To me, she's like a Bowie Jane. I don't see her winning.
Bowie Jane, Bowie
Bowie
Jane, I feel like
isn't
doesn't
a
have.
bad comparison.
No, the reason why I really don't agree with that sentiment is that I feel like Bowie Jane had blind loyalty, where I feel as though Angela
too.
really wants to win. Like Bowie Jane, to me, came into the house and was like, whatever. Like I don't really.
Yes.
The mafia, like she had, I feel like a lack of care, whereas Angela has been fighting since day one. She wants this. I could easily see her at the end crying in the voting booth and evicting Tucker. Like I genuinely see it. I think for now, because she has no one else, no one has given her the time of day up until week 4 when Tucker took her off the block. Like no one had given her a chance.
did.
Right now, yeah, she's ill.
They
But
did.
Bowie
Week
Jane was
one.
fine the entire. What?
They gave her. She had the time of day. She just didn't take it. With
Yeah.
the whole
No, okay.
I don't
week
wanna-
1. I'm talking
real
about
quick.
past week 1.
And I don't want to spend too much time on Angela, but I will say I agree with the Bowie Jane comparison. And I just want to make it clear, being compared to Victoria isn't bad. I think there's a chance if depending on who was sitting next to Victoria, she could have won because the jury was very bitter. And Victoria wasn't a slouch either. She's actually, I feel like, extremely like underrated. She's not a good player. Don't get it twisted, but her and Derek were scheming a lot. I think Victoria was very important to Derek's game, and I think the difference maker between Angela and these people is that this huge sentiment like, oh, Angela wants to win, and like, okay, cool, but like, is she going to get respected enough? Like you guys keep saying she isn't being seen as a threat. Yeah, because I don't think people care much about Angela anymore. Like I think she's there, and you know, she's going to win comps probably still. She's going to still do her thing, but like this girl is always like one eye blink in the wrong direction away from blowing something up and getting over paranoid. And I could just see like that Rennie thing. I don't think Rennie could have won BB10 either, but like Rennie was in the house till Final Four, and you know, like there's just certain, not even 4, but she was like Final 5. But like these characters are here for a while because they're down for the cause, they're loyal, they stick with their group, but like when it's your time, you know. So
I don't know if I agree with that about Angela. She is no slouch and she has a mind of her own and she's a fan of the game. Bowie Jane
but like
joined the
she's
house.
not gonna have the respect, just like Bowie
But
Jane.
Bowie Jane joined the house and sat down and was like, I just need to be here till jury because I rented my house. Like that's not what Angela's here for.
Will vote Angela.
I'm not saying that. We had a long season, and I'm saying it's not a zero chance. That's all I'm saying. Bowie Jane had zero chance from like week 1
Angela
to win
has
the
like
game.
zero chance to get.
I don't think she has zero chance.
A winning jury. Like
I think she could get a couple of votes.
Yeah, but I don't think she's winning.
I'm not saying that your whole thought of process is wrong. I think that the comparison to Bowie Jane is wrong. If you want to compare her to Victoria or Rennie, I'm down with that. I gave a Karen comparison. But to compare her to Bowie Jane, it's simply just...
I can see her place... Oh. This loop on her, y'all. But yeah, the thing with Bowie Jane, and like I said, oh my God, we're talking about Bowie Jane for this long, but Bowie Jane,
you brought her up, child.
The comparison, you know, but Bowie placed 3rd, and I think that's where Angela could go very far, but I don't see her winning. Like that's where I see the Janelle comparison. That like I agree, like she can get very far, but that's how I'm saying it. Janelle, stay on business though. All right. Anyway, I'm putting her D. Does anyone want to put her higher than that or no?
No.
All right, cool. There you go. All right, let's move on. Mackenzie, she was D tier last time.
Put this girl dead in the water.
Yeah, no, seriously, MJ, like, girl,
She's just tanking
girl.
worse every day.
Like, gorgeous gowns. I'll keep saying that for her. Like, I can't believe, like, you're in a good position, right? She did the vote. She voted on the right side. She talks, I had hope for her on Thursday night. She's talking to Chelsea in Brooklyn, making them feel at peace. She's going to the other side. I'm like, yeah, okay. But then it's like, after that night, she hasn't done any work to like really cement things with other people. Like she kind of stays with like maybe like chemo, and that's really it. And it's not enough. Like people want you up as a replacement nom. Like people are going out of their way to put you up. Her game talk is atrocious. Like it's just down back horrible. Like I actually genuinely see no hope for her. Like
Me too.
her only hope is if she wins HOH and she like solidifies things because she's in power. That is her only hope. And even when she gets into that HOH position, I don't know if she'll actually do a good job because her biggest op, Leah, talking about her 2 weeks ago, and now it's like, oh my god, like they're all over the place. She's all over the place. Gorgeous gal.
There's not much to even like say about her. I think that even if she were to win an HOH at this point, I think that things are kind of cementing themselves, and it's like, I don't really know if she can really break into any of these cracks for either side of the house at this point. I think that the only thing that she could hide behind was her power, and it's kind of gone now. So like she's kind of here. But hey, the instigator's still out there. Maybe she gets lucky. But yeah, I'm dead in the water for Mackenzie too.
She just chose the wrong side. She won. She voted the right way. Things were looking up for her, and then she just chose the wrong side. Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? You were going to go if you were next to Cedric, and then you just ended up choosing the total wrong side of the house to align with, and now you're just seen as Brooklyn and Chelsea's mouthpiece and like lapdog. No one's going to want to work with her moving forward. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I was so confused how she voted with the right side,
right?
But then proceeded to throw all those people under the bus.
Right.
She could have just went to the other side and tried to rock with them. It's like she's trying to get in with Tucker hard. She don't leave Tucker alone. But yet she's going and running and telling T-Core said this, Chemo said this, blah, 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 blah. I believe Brooklyn and Chelsea. You just voted against them. And I was so confused. Like Leah did what Mackenzie should have been doing this week. I don't know what Mackenzie was doing this week. And Tucker's like, I'm not worried about her. She's just their mouthpiece, like you said. Yeah, I don't know what MJ was doing this week.
She's a mess.
Dead in the water.
I think just to add on to my MJ before we move on to the next person, I think the main issue is that a lot of these players in the house want to play an individual game, but they want the people that they're playing with to see their exact agenda. Tucker's guilty of it, and MJ's one of them. Tucker, Chelsea, and Brooklyn are not going to work together. So I need you to pivot and adapt and move forward and kind of go with the group. You need to give and take. You can't always just take, and hope that everything just lays out the way you want them to. I think a lot of players are guilty of this. And she's definitely one of them.
All right. Moving on. Dead in the water, Mackenzie. First dead in the water, I think, unless something I don't know. Next is Leah. How we feel about Leah?
I think she
pisses me off.
I still don't like her. Her personality still.
How's she doing in the game, y'all? How's she doing in the game?
But I think she did better than I expected. She voted with the right side. She's going with that side. She's not running to rat out the side that she voted with. This put her in a little bit better position. Even though Tucker can't stand her, even though Tucker's tired of her, he chose to keep her safe. I still think she sucks. I still think her game awareness and all of those things are not the best. She's so ditzy. Like the most I ever agreed with Leah was the meatloaf conversation. It's all that conversation. But I still think she's a terrible player. And I think that she's just gonna flock and follow to Tucker's side. And I don't think she has allegiance to anybody. Like nobody. So that's D for me.
I think the thing with a lot of these players this season is that they don't know the game, so they're learning as they go, which is okay. I mean, I feel like we see some of that every season, but this house feels like it's like almost the whole house doesn't know the game, aside from maybe like 3-4 people. I think she is learning slowly and she's doing things a little better than she has been over the last few weeks, but I think she's easy fodder to go 1 week if things just don't work out in her favor. But I do think she's in a better position this week. Like you said, Janelle, like she's in the group with Tucker, you know, he's saving her. She's not in that alliance that they built, but like she's there and, you know, in the conversation. She voted with them. She gave a pretty good pep talk to T-Core, I will say. After the vote, I was a little impressed by, you know, her game sense to give T-Core that pep talk. So that I did like, but I think D still makes sense for her. I think below Angela, actually. I think Angela's playing a better game than Leah.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Leah is playing a horrible game. She annoys everyone, literally everyone. The people she can work with, she chooses to talk shit about them. I mean, Quinn, Cam, like she actually does nothing for her game in the grand scheme of things that actually cements her in a good place. Her talking about bullying when she hasn't done anything as different as the rest of the people she's calling a bully. I just find like her game is not game, it's just personal. And like I really can't give her credit for anything because I just feel like she's being herself in that moment and not necessarily a game player. I'm not thinking she's thinking this is going to be a good moment for me to solidify something with Takor and really cement my place. I think she's thinking I voted with them. She just closed the door in my face, which she'd been saying the wrong person the entire time tonight. We just found out that it was Chelsea. So like, I don't know. No, I know. I can't really give her credit for anything until she actually does a move. I'm not, you know, I think she voted the way she did because people, Takor and Chemo told her to indirectly. I know it made it seem like it was her own volition, but I don't buy it.
I feel like Leah is in the same boat as Angela. I don't think she's far off. I actually think she's a little better than Angela. But regardless, I don't see her or Angela really winning this season, so I don't have much to say. I could sit here and like ramble, but like come on. So it's like she's still a D tier for me. But you know, I don't think anyone's ever going to be looking at Leah and like we need to take Leah out. You know, like I think if she goes, it'd be like a double eviction. But I think she could be here for a very long time, just like Angela could be here for a very long time. It just depends on luck, and we'll see what happens, right? But I think the fact that she's not loyal to anyone actually is good because there's going to be weeks where key votes are needed, and she can easily be that person that everyone's going to be flocking to. You guys saw Cedric when his back was against the wall. He knew exactly who to go to because he didn't know where the votes were. Those floater type people are very interesting, and it could change a lot of things. I don't think she winning, but you know, her game's very reliant on luck at this point. But I put her in Angela, the same exact boat, D tier. And we'll keep it at that. I'll put her under Angela, unless anyone disagrees with me.
No, she's below Angela for sure.
She's below Angela because unlike Leah, Angela's in an alliance and she's not. Like that's my opinion.
I mean, barely, but I agree. I'm with that.
Barely.
I mean, I agree with y'all. I agree. I agree with y'all. Like a D tier, you know what I'm saying? All right. Next is Rubina. How you guys feel about Rubina's game?
Another person annoys me. Go ahead, Janelle.
Yeah, she annoys me too. Her personality. I liked her a lot more at the beginning than I do currently. I don't dislike her, but I think that naturally I would move her up because she's got the protection of Tucker. She's got the protection of that alliance. She's had T-Core and Chemo willing to keep her over Cedric. I don't know. She's in a cushy spot right now. I feel like
these all sound
like how much
positive.
But how much of that was because of Rubina? Almost zero.
Oh my god!
Like almost zero. Like
thank you,
Tucker. Not Tucker. I'm sorry. Cedric and oh my god, Chemo and T-Core last week were not even going to tell her that she was going up on the block. Like they didn't care about her whatsoever. It was their game and they were mad about the Pentagon and they were mad that they were on the bottom. So they did it for themselves. They didn't do it for Rubina. They did it for themselves. Like, I think it could have been anybody in that position that, you know, and they wanted to go against that like power alliance and they would have flipped the house for that person. Maybe not Mackenzie, because I know that was an option, but like they're friends with Rubina, but they were such bad allies to her because she just like was not important to their game until she became important for like a flip vote. I just think she's a flop. She's not giving anything.
She acts like she did something.
We ranked people high earlier in these rankings when we also felt like the position that they were in, they didn't necessarily put in all the groundwork to get there, but yet they were there, right? She is there, whether you think it was her fault or her skill or whatever, she is there. She had 2 people flip to save her. She has the protection of Tucker. She's in that alliance with all of them. So I think that she just naturally would have to move up. If you guys don't agree, that's fine. It's just my perspective, but that's my reasoning.
I'm with you, Janelle. I actually think I'm not moving her to a C though, but like I think she stays exactly where she is. I don't really think her position has like gotten like higher or lower, but like I think she's right there. But I completely agree with you actually, especially for consistency basis. I think that the 2 people completely like tank their games in my opinion to keep her in the game. I think Tucker and her are like this, even though Tucker says one thing, his actions have shown completely different in my opinion. And I think he's going to do what he needs to do to keep Rubina in his house.
He didn't last week.
Oh, sure.
He didn't. He could have tried. But he didn't try.
But he's still. What I'm saying, if that was because of Angela, and like I agree with you, but I'm still thinking, in my opinion, that as long as she's in the house, I think Tucker's main priority is to keep Rubina and Angela in this game as far as he can. You know what I'm saying? He's unpredictable, so I'm not going to give her all this credit, like I said, but she's here. And she is, I feel like, in terms of a hierarchy in this group, she's pretty high. She don't voice her opinion that much, so I don't think it matters. But like, I think she has a little bit of a weight in this group. You know, I agree with Janelle here. You know, but I'm not dropping her or raising her because I don't think she's improved or did worse. I think she's literally in the same exact spot as she was in last week. But I think she's over Angela and Leah because if she was to sit next to both of them, I actually think Rubina could win because I think people like Rubina more than Angela. So in my opinion, I'm putting her at the top of D. But how are you guys ranking her?
I just wanted to say my piece about Ruvina. I think Katie's spot on in the sense that like no one did anything for her. I think they did it for other reasons, and she just so happened to be the person in that position. I do think that our ranking of her being high D made sense last week, and she still deserves to be in that spot, but it's not because of her own volition. Like she genuinely thought she was going home. Like, let's keep it a book. Like she didn't mastermind, she didn't do nothing.
The other week, and then she got the veto played on her.
Well, yes, that's why I agree that she's still in D tier, of course, and I do think she's in a better position than Angela. But it's not because she did anything; it's because people did worse. And I think you said something similar, and we're in line in that. But like, I literally can't sit here and give her credit. Her reads are off, first of all, because for a time she believed Chelsea and Brooklyn on Thursday night, even though Brooklyn literally told her what was up. She was not going to have the votes to say, and she stayed anyways. I think she's a little confused. I think that she doesn't have good reads. I think that her being stuck to Tucker is exactly what I said about Cam. And I tried to move him lower, and y'all didn't want to do nothing about it. So
question, are you raising her or are you dropping her?
I said I'm keeping her in D.
Oh, so we're all saying the same exact thing, just like different words.
I actually think I think she's playing a worse game than Angela personally, but we can leave her above Angela if you guys want to do that. I don't care. I don't really feel that passionate about it. I think she sucks, and I think she's just going to keep moving down. And I think as soon as anybody wants to take a hit at Tucker, they're going right after Rubina.
I agree.
I think that's happening with Angela.
I agree with that too.
Just like they did last week. She's fodder. She's cannon fodder.
So expectful.
I can see her dropping next week, but for now, I'm keeping her.
I think she's cannon fodder. Like I think she's just gonna.
I agree with that.
She's just expendable.
Yeah, she's furniture.
Yeah, she's
I fully co-sign that. I co-sign that. I see her possibly being dead in the water next week. I will say that.
I think my issue with her specifically is the fact that she thinks she does something when she never does. Like she
I
thinks
don't blame her.
she eats.
I don't blame her.
Like,
These
no.
two people just crashed their whole games for her and promoted
Not
it
for
to
her,
everybody.
not for her.
That's
Not
what they're telling
for her.
everybody. That's what they're telling everybody. So I can't
To
blame her
lie.
for two
People
people
lie.
playing
They did not do
horrible.
that. They did not do
They're
that move for her.
they're
People
telling
lie.
But I think that actually
everybody
puts
that's why
Rubina in
they do
a
it.
worse position than a better
position.
Anyway.
Sure,
Even if
sure.
it was true,
But
like no, they didn't do it for her.
perception
Come on
is
now.
reality, and that's what they're telling everybody. I can't get mad at her for two people playing terrible. That's just me. I cannot wait to get to these two. But
All right, let's keep it moving then.
moving on, Joseph.
I would move Joseph up.
Is doing better. Yeah,
I think he's doing a lot better. I just think he's doing a lot better. I think he came out of his shell this week. I think him and Tucker, they have a final two. I think that Tucker actually thinks Joseph is probably his most valuable ally and not Angela or Rubina. I think he's keeping those two close as numbers and as people on his side. But I think who he actually trusts and believes and wants to listen to is Joseph. And I think Joseph has a very unique position because Tucker's not just listening to anybody, he's listening to Joseph, and Tucker's the one winning the competitions. And if he has influence over the person winning the competitions, puts him in a good spot. I think he did obviously lose, favor with Chelsea and that crew, but does it really matter that much? I don't really know. I think he's just really upped his position this week. I think he did a good job sitting on the sideline and not taking a side. And now I think he took a side and he's in a much better spot because he just woke up.
Joseph did the best thing he could do in Jump Ship. His ability to read the room and assess, because no one spoke to him directly. He read the room, he listened to his surroundings, and he flipped the vote. And that was so smart because now he included himself in an alliance that he was not in, and he made himself a very a valuable person in the eyes of multiple people. Leah, he's still talking with Quinn and Tucker, who are who is pretty much in the center of the game. I don't think he's the most powerful player, but Joseph is aligning himself to be really in a great position. Now, I do worry if Chelsea wins HOH or if Cam wins HOH or Brooklyn wins HOH, depending on who goes, who knows, because they might feel vengeful because they feel the most betrayed by him, Takor, and Chemo. So those could be a mix of the three on the block, but I think it's worth the risk in the switching of positions.
Yeah, I think he's done great. And what I give him most credit for is he's doing what he said he wanted to do postseason. He said he wanted a meat shield. He said he wanted to ride right behind that meat shield, control that person and have that person as the shield. And that's what he's been able to do with Tucker. Still has great relationships, I think, with T-Core and Chemo. Other people are mad at him. He's taken a lot of heat for that. But I still think if Tucker's in the house, he's going to be okay for a little bit. Nobody's going to take out, I can't foresee that other side targeting him before they do a Tucker. At least that wouldn't make sense to me. So I definitely agree with him moving up. And I like how he even holds some things close to his chest. He doesn't tell absolutely everything. So yeah, I would definitely agree with him moving up.
So he looks like he's at the bottom of the C last week. I'm trying to debate. I feel like I'm gonna put him top C for now, and then I'm actually obligated to move him to a B depending on how we rank the rest of the people. But as of right now, he's top of C for me. I think the game. I still think Joseph has a warped perception of the house structure right now, but I think the way he's moving, it doesn't really matter what his read is because I think he's doing very well socially in the house to put himself in the right places where he needs to be. And I there was Dan comparisons. I'm not going to go that far, but introductory to BB10 day, I get it, but it's not there obviously. But he's doing better than he was last time, So I would. For now, top C might move to B for me by the end of this podcast, depending on the rest of the rankings. But
I'm good with that.
All right.
No, I think that he does definitely have the potential to move to B, depending on where everybody else lies. He
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of that GIF. I guess it's from Mean Girls, where someone's like standing there with their arms crossed and everybody's like fighting in the background. Like he's just like existing throughout the chaos. And I feel like that's a really good spot to be in this house. That's so chaotic.
And that is an upgrade, by the way. That's jumping up like what 4 spots. So like,
yeah, it's a pretty big upgrade. Yeah.
For now,
Especially because a lot of those people are moving down.
Josie, did you know you cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go to Killing Cam.
Josie, I want to hear Josie.
Please, I beg of you, move him down. I don't know why y'all let the Cam mist do what it did, but I have been reading this man for filth, and he has proven me right every single time without exception. What do you mean you're telling Tucker? If you gotta put me on the block, it is what it is. No. Fight for your spot. Fight for your spot. Why are you still talking to Leah, who's talking about you all the time? Like, I need him. Yeah. I'm gonna refrain. Y'all can tune into last week's if y'all haven't seen it for my thoughts on Cam. But it's proving exactly my point. He does nothing to put himself in a good position. He was just blessed with good genes, and he seems like a nice guy. And that's where he was in this entire game. And I can't wait for his eviction. Goodbye.
See, while he's not the best, absolutely, I agree with everything you said. I mean, I'm not seething for him to be out of the game, but I like how he responded to T-Core and Chemo. It was better than Brooklyn. Do you know what I mean? Like he
Agreed.
he did that right at the very, very least. But I'm fine. I don't care where he really moves. He's never. I can't ever see him being like a player that should be feared in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't like use any game chops. I think that his comforting those two was more so just his personality and not necessarily a game move. So I'm perfectly fine with it. But he doesn't piss me off.
You hear Josie type that was very funny. Like she was typing hard as shit. Cam is Cam. I'm gonna be real with you. Looking at this chart, I wouldn't even like move him anywhere. I think he's in the same exact position that he was in last time. We put him towards the end of C. Agreed.
Sir.
But let me finish. Compared to the people who he's sitting next to, I don't see Cam getting eliminated right now. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
If it goes to next week, there's other people like Chelsea, like Brooklyn, in my opinion, that could probably leave before the guy. I could be wrong. I don't think he's playing a great game, but like bottom C. Why are you guys looking at me crazy? Like bottom C or top of D is bad.
You're putting him in the same. You're putting him in the same row as Joseph. The moment you said you're keeping him in,
y'all
C,
didn't let me finish, bro. You didn't let me finish.
Keep cooking, brother. Keep cooking.
Like I said, bottom
burnt,
C or like around the top of D. I don't think he's really doing much. And let's be for real. If he stays this week, and let's say his side wins HOH next week, then this whole entire list is going to get flipped on top of its head again. It's just depends on who wins HOH. I wouldn't say Cam is in much of a different position as Rubina. Like I think they're literally the same player. They're just sitting there. So as I said, either bottom of C or top of D. Guess where Rubina's at? Top of D. It's not bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? That they're in the same exact position. The difference is that his side is not in power this week. But if his side wins the power next week, it's going to be flipped. Like they're the same player, you know.
That's why I think he should be bottom of D, because all three of these people are in a better spot than him this week, because they're a part of Tucker's crew, whether they're in the alliance or not. Like Leah's being protected by Tucker, Rubina and Angela are in the alliance; they're in power. Cam, I think, it should have been him up on the.
I would put Cam on top of
Cedric
D.
should still be here.
The only thing I'm going to say with Cam is that there's still, in my opinion, a huge thing that like Cam can probably get jury votes over the 3 people that he's below. But like
depends who's in jury.
Exactly. I don't even see him getting to finale before we continue. But yeah, I'm with top of D, either in front of or behind Rubina.
I just think there's a real possibility that if Brooklyn wins the AI arena and Tucker doesn't use the veto, or does use the veto on Quinn and is next to Chelsea, Cam's going over Chelsea
for sure.
Or saving. So that's why I think to put him up next to Rubina and Angela and Leah, who are all safe this week without a potential of him going home, like I mean, without potential of them going home, and he could very well be out the door
I'm
this week.
saying is
Doesn't seem like he should be above any of these people.
Rubina and Angela, just like Cam, all three of these people will be in the same exact position as they were during their eviction week, which is AI arena. It all comes down to the AI arena, right? Rubina was literally gone up until that eviction. Angela was gone up until Tucker.
I also said Rubina should be lower. So to be honest,
listen,
I think they both should be lower.
I agree. If y'all want, we can put Cam right behind Angela and Ruby. If y'all, because look, at the end of the day,
I think that's fine. I think he's in a better spot than Leah.
For me, it's not changing it for me. Like it's literally the same thing, you know. So, it's up to y'all. But like this is like this is like top of D for me. Like it's interchangeable.
I think you should go behind Angela. He hasn't won a single comp. His alliance is decimated. He's on the block.
All right. I do agree with Janelle, though. I think that he did way better with
he did
dealing with certain things.
I think he's a nice guy. I just don't think he's made for this game.
Great guy, gorgeous gowns. I will say, if Cam survives this week, he might actually end up being in a better position than Angela solely because he's a guy. I'm gonna be so real. I feel like people are gonna be more open to working with him.
I don't think it's that.
Like,
I just think that he's not blowing shit up every week and exposing people's lines, being paranoid every week, fighting with people. Cam is just like, all right, like I'm here. I'm not bitter.
Well,
there's nothing to do with being a guy.
He's physically fit. Well, no,
and he's not blowing shit
he's a guy. Hold on. I was just gonna say he's a guy, he's physically fit and he's nice. So he's in a better position automatically based off who he is as a person. You didn't let me finish my sentence, but yes, overall.
You wasn't saying all that.
Well, you didn't let me finish. You literally interrupted me. So let me say my point and say what I say. And that's all I have to say. He's a guy, he's physically fit, and he's nice. I've been saying that for weeks now. So yes, I was going to say all that. And I think that's why he automatically just ends up being in a better position than Angela, because she also did a lot to ruin her positioning week one, like we talked about a little bit earlier on the podcast, like Janelle mentioned. So yeah. Thanks for agreeing with me, Benjamin.
I think that if like, let's just say Chelsea and Brooklyn go relatively soon, I could see him fading. Who's going to like, wow, what's he going to do without his leaders? You know what I mean? I think he can easily fade in the background and just be around for a little bit because I think they'd go after other people, but we'll see.
These three people are the type of players that you get out immediately. And if you waste too much time, furniture players are so dangerous to leave in the game because they're just going to take up a spot from you. And it's just like, why are y'all not just booting these people out? Like, I'm so sorry. Do not keep furniture players around. They will literally. Bowie Jane is a perfect example. They will take your spot. Stop leaving these people to just lurk. You know what I'm saying? All right. Oh, Katie said her cam froze, but she's still here. Okay. All right. It's time. Let's talk about chemo. Let's talk about chemo. Chemo, we had him in C last time. Hot take. Chemo is not in a terrible position, in my opinion. I think Chemo actually benefited a lot from the Cedric elimination. I think the way Chemo has handled the game post Cedric elimination has not been good. I think he and Takor are a little passive, and I think they've made it blatantly obvious that
very passive
duo is not good. I don't know why they're allowing the entire house to know they're in a duo. I don't know why they are taking their sweet time to do battle damage after what you just did. But I think out of the two of them, Chemo has benefited a lot more than Takor, and I think that taking Cedric out was actually a net positive for Chemo. With that being said, I don't necessarily think he has improved at all in his positioning. We had him in towards the bottom of C last time in the middle. I'm still there. I think he is very reliant right now on luck and depending on what other people do. And I'm not out on Chemo yet, but like his game is very tied to very specific players, and I don't think he's put himself in a position where he can only work with a small pocket of people. I don't think he can really work with many others at this point. So it's like He has to be with Takor. He has to be with Tucker. He has to be with very specific players. So I'm keeping him in the same place, but for podcast reason, I will put him towards the bottom of C. If you ask me, I don't think much has been done. So there you go.
I would move Chemo down, actually.
Me too.
For the reason that I don't know if I think that the Cedric thing was good or bad for those two. I truly don't know. And my opinion is just going to form as the season goes. I don't think there's a concrete answer there. But I would absolutely move Chemo down for the simple fact that after this all came to be, he did good work speaking to Chelsea and Brooklyn, in my opinion. But Tucker has been doing this thing where he's kind of protecting T-Core's reputation a little bit and tanking Chemo. He's pretty much told the other side, Brooklyn, Chelsea, Cam, that Chemo was an option to go on the block. And a lot of the anger seems to go more towards Chemo about all this than T-Core. And I think that has a lot to do with Tucker kind of pretending like Chemo was the one that was an option to go up. And therefore, those three, or at least Brooklyn and Chelsea, I'll know what Cam's doing, were talking about trying to get Chemo on the block. Like, that's what they were expected to happen. I saw Chelsea, for example, saying that she would put up Chemo, but not necessarily T-Core. So I think that she's coming not of her own doing necessarily. I think Tucker had a hand in that, but I think he really, really hurt himself with those three the most in this, him and Joseph. But I would move him down because I think that if they win, he's going up. I don't know.
Hey, I'm moving them down too. I have no problem with that.
Wow.
I'd move him down too.
Katie, go first. I feel like you wanted to say something.
I just think it was maybe in the beginning or like on Thursday evening and that day of, even right before the vote, it could have been a really positive move. I just think they misplayed their hand. And I think that T-Core and Chemo need to separate themselves a little bit, because I just think that he's so blinded by Tucker, and now I think Joseph too is like in his head a little bit, and I just don't think he's making the right moves. And I agree with you, Janelle, like there's a target on him now because people think that he also could just be fodder and might be a replacement nom. And I just don't think that they really thought this through when they did it, especially T-Core, but we can talk about that when we get to her. And I just don't feel like they're really on the same page. I don't know. I just think he's just misplaying his hand here. And I think his influence is, he had a chance to take things by the reins and he didn't. So I don't know. I just don't think he's in a good spot anymore.
I think I have a hot take, I guess, by the temperature of this, no pun intended for the Chelsea fans who know about the feed. Anyway, I feel like I have a hotter take. I actually think that in general, in terms of the house layout, he is always going to be in the decision. He's always going to be the decision maker at this point, because if they do decide to flip, and there have been conversations about it, it ultimately ends up being their decision, him and T-Core. I think the difference between the two of them and what I want to give pros to Chemo for is how he's dealt with the entire situation. Once the vote happened, I feel like I saw him talk to people early on, also reassure the person he was with. And I think the difference between Chemo and T-Core is that like Chemo actually voices his opinions and T-Core does not. And I feel like at least people feel comfortable with telling Chemo their true intentions. I feel like Tucker did that. I feel like they have an open dialogue. I know that Chemo is blinded by the Tucker miss, but it's working for him. He's always been that way since week 2. So like, how is it any different now that Tucker's in power? Like, I just feel like, yeah, like Chelsea and Brooklyn feel blindsided, but they're the minority and one of them is going home, So it's like, I don't want to put Chemo below Tucker, in my opinion, because Tucker will always be a target before Chemo. I think Chemo in general is in a better position strategically to do moves, whereas like Tucker needs to win. And I don't feel like Chemo does. Joseph just got added to this alliance. And then, I just feel like I think he's high C. Now, majority rules. So if you guys really want to put him down, I'm not going to argue. But I just, for what it is, I think he's in a better position.
That's not
I actually
valid,
agree
though.
with most of the
Yeah.
stuff you said. I don't disagree. I don't think he's like a decision maker, but everything else you said, I actually really do agree with. I don't think yet he's above a Tucker and Joseph, but I can easily see myself possibly doing it like a week or two, depending on how the game goes. But the only thing that's hurting him versus everyone else is like he's just so attached to Takor, and they're just such an obvious duo. If the other side wins, like they're getting their lick back like immediately, and they're both going on the block. That's the only thing for me. But I agree with everything else you said, Josie. I really do. But
I'm okay leaving him where he is then, middle
yeah, that's how
C.
I'm feeling.
I think it all is going to depend on what happens next week when Tucker's not in power, depending on who wins the HOH. Like, I do think he was the face of this flip, so people are very easily going to point the fingers at him and T-Core. They could go on the block. We have Moses in the chat saying Chelsea and Brooklyn, if she's still here next week, said that they'd put Chemo on the block. Brooklyn was trashing Chemo and T-Core to everybody, saying, you know, so like, I just think there's a lot more out there verbally about Chemo and T-Core than there are. I mean, Tucker obviously is a comp threat, but like, Joseph's in a better spot than Chemo this week, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
he caught some heat too.
I would still put him behind Tucker personally.
Yeah, I think middle. I think where leaving him in the same spot, I think is fine.
See, I think Joseph could go up with him too. Really do. If certain people win.
Like,
so how are we feeling?
That's
so
fine. Whatever you guys.
Josie said, like right here.
Like I'm okay. I can compromise between putting him between Joseph and Tucker. I feel like if Chemo and Tucker on the block, like the odds against Tucker specifically are too high, and the duo thing applies to him as well. He's attached to Regina.
I just don't think Tucker is ever going to be on the block as long as you have AI Arena. He's going to win.
Yeah.
True. That's fair. But I don't think Chemo will be voted out.
I would just leave him where he is right now. I think it's all going to depend next week to see what like the true fallout is because Tucker won.
All right, we'll see. All right, next is Quinn. Quinn, horrible HOH, worst HOH of the season. Quinn
of all time,
such a bad player. But I also don't know if Quinn's game is over yet. I think he's still going to be here for a little bit, but I think his base knowledge of the game is going to help him survive for a while. I think he's extremely overestimated his like comp ability. I think he's completely misplayed such an OP power that like, bro, you were even able to compete in the next HOH. Like how did you drop the ball this hard? And I think he has just wrongfully put so much trust into Chemo. Where that Chemo has just like not earned, in my opinion. You told him about his power, blew your game up. You still telling him about the Pentagon, blew your game up. Like I'm just shocked that like you gave Chemo so much ammunition to do what he did. I think Quinn. Is he a D player? Like he
yes, he's bottom of D.
Yeah,
he's the worst player left in this house right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
he cannot keep his mouth shut to save his life. Even this week, Tucker gave him a test to say, I'm going to use a veto on you. You're a pawn, but don't tell anybody. He went and told Brooklyn. Like, how have you not learned from your all-time awful HOH last week? Let's just go over it. The most overpowered power in all of Big Brother history. Let's just say that. His allies are on the block. Like because he volunteered. Then his other allies flip because of information that Quinn gave them. Then he gets a chance to compete again in the HOH, and he doesn't take the deal to keep himself safe on the wall. Like, why, as you know, as a Big Brother fan, you're not going to outlast Tucker. Take the deal and you wouldn't be on the block. Like, I don't know why he thought he had to be a hero in that moment and have a back-to-back HOH when he knew he wasn't going to win. And now he's in a situation where he's on the block and he's still spilling information. Like, he cannot help himself by just shooting his mouth off to anybody that will listen. And then he just pouts and acts like a victim when he's the one that made all these mistakes that put him in this position. This is an all-time awful HOH. I mean, I think this has to be the worst HOH of all time. Well, this was like pathetically bad.
Okay, but last week was the HOH. What are we talking about this week I agree with everything you said, Katie, but what are we ranking him off this week? All that stuff.
You guys can rank him on whatever you want. I think he sucks and he's at the bottom of the list for me. You guys put him wherever you want. I'm going to rank him at the bottom forever. I think he's the worst player in this house.
I was just curious because I want to make sure I'm going off the right thing. This is what I'm going to say about it. I would leave him in C this week because
Girl.
sorry.
Stand on business, Janelle. Stand on business. Go ahead. You have an opinion. Go for it. Go for it.
Let me think. Go ahead, Isaiah. Let me think on this for a second.
Oh, listen.
Okay.
This is the real quick. This is the Battle Forges. You good? You can say whatever you want. Hot takes are welcome. All right, I'm just letting you know that. If you want me to say something,
trash player, but like,
yeah,
I don't know when he's
you
not
rank it
gonna
on
come
however
back.
you feel.
I can't.
If you feel
like,
C,
I don't
you can
think
say
he's
C.
gonna be. I think he's a trash player. I don't disagree with anything that Katie said, but he got the person that people were singing his praises as far as what he's been doing in the game, offering him protection. Will that last now? I don't know. Joseph's working hard to mitigate that right now for Quinn, right? They're working hard to save, he's working hard to save Quinn, and Joseph really has Tucker's ear. Yes, he's on the block, but it looks like he's coming off. I don't know who's going to target Quinn next week. As trash as he's been, who's going to go for him next week? I don't think anybody in Tucker's side is going to. I can't see Chelsea and her people going for Quinn. So that is the basis for my reasoning. Trash player, absolutely. All those mistakes, all true. But his positioning right now is not that terrible. That's all I'm saying. If you guys want to keep him in D or move him to D, I don't care. But I'm just playing a little devil's advocate. If you don't,
the reason why I was telling you just speak your mind, because notice when I said, I was like, is he a D player? Like I'm actually unsure. I think there right now,
but his position
he's
is
bad,
right now.
but his position isn't like dead in the water, right? So it's like I think he is a D. I will say that. I was considering C. But I do think like it's really just like this house is really dependent on who wins HOH each week. Like it's really crazy, right? I think he's D. But I will probably put him like over Leah, right? Where I feel like Quinn in some strange universe, which is Big Brother 26, still has a chance next week if he survives to do something. And I think that's very interesting. This house is very bipolar. For sure,
I'll pay
but this
to
house
see what he's going to do, given what happened last week.
This house is very bipolar. That's what I'm saying. Each week it flips on its head. So like I'll put him like it's like dead middle to like top of D, right? Like it's not dead yet. There's still redemption. But like he just completely dropped the ball that like he's dropping from like top of C all the way down to D. Like that's how I'm feeling. I don't think that's like bad to like have him towards. So that's why I was saying speak your mind, because like I'm with you. God.
Speaking your mind. He's D. It's like I can't make this up. I know we're not talking about his HOH, but literally after Cedric got evicted, first of all, that C tier is crazy. I don't think we knew what was gonna happen, but putting your ally on the block, every time we've seen someone do that, it has gone the opposite way. Every blindside ever, a lot of the time, we've seen in the few recent seasons. I'm thinking BB Can 3. I'm thinking about like some American versions as well. It has been because an ally put a person put their ally on the block. That was so dumb, and he should have known better. Like he should have known better. It is entirely his fault, and he is lucky that he's in the position right now because no one is using information against him that can make his positioning worse. All it takes is for Tucker to talk about the Pentagon, which is he's been saying. They're going to start saying,
blowing it up
the name
in the veto meeting tomorrow, by the way.
Well, yeah. So then people are going to be like, how do you know about the name? Blah, blah, blah. And it's going to happen all over again with his power. There's going to be a meeting. People are going to talk about it. And his allies, Chelsea, Brooklyn, his solid allies are going to get mad at him. How much is that going to be worth in the game? I don't know. But it's just shown that he's untrustworthy twice now when it happens. He is in the position he is in solely of his doing. The fact that he told everybody under the sun information that they don't need to, like loose lips and sips, and I can't believe that he's allowed himself to keep talking in a week where he should have just, pulled it down, lay in his bed and not say anything because wow, I am absolutely flabbergasted by the game he's playing. Like it's atrociously bad. Atrociously bad. Like yeah, like no.
Literally everything that happened last week was because of Quinn. And that is having impacts on this week and the future. So I don't think we can just say like, are we talking about last week or are we talking about this week? I think everything that happened last week is having an impact on where we're at this week. And that all started because Quinn can't keep his mouth shut. And he still can't keep his mouth shut. He's still doing it. He's still doing it. It's only going to get worse for him.
The one thing I was blanking on, but I wanted to say is that he has now put himself in a position that people put Angela in after her HOH. That was the most important thing I was going to say. They are saving him because they're like, he's ruined his game so badly that he's done for. We can keep him because he's just not in a good position. And I think that's entirely true. And so I cannot fathom the idea of putting him in C tier. Like I literally cannot fathom it because you've been reduced to Angela. And when that thing happened, we put Angela dead in the water. I'm not saying he is dead in the water. I'm not saying he is dead in the water because he has potential. Barely. But he has something. And in a game like this, in a season like this, he can switch it up. But for this week, as a consequence of last week, he has to be put in D.
Yeah. Like I said, I would put him like, if you're asking me, like above Angela or behind Angela. That's why I would put him.
But not put him above Angela.
Hey, listen, it is what it is. How about you, Josie?
I don't know. He did such a shit job. Like, I genuinely, like, if I have to go off of the game, like, right now as it stands, like, I feel like people are more willing to work with Leah than they are him.
Some people are, yeah. Some people are. Yeah. And I think Cam is in a better spot than Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
this house is really just depends on HOH. It's a weird house. It's really dependent.
One of Quinn's potential allies this week, if he even has allies at this point, are going this week, whether it's him or not. I mean, it sounds like as of this point, he's coming off the block, which because Tucker is so chaotic, it's working out in Quinn's favor. But again, it's nothing that Quinn is doing. It's because Tucker is just a chaos agent.
Right.
Like there's no way he should be coming off the block this week, but whatever. Tucker wants to win the comp and use a veto. That's fine. But like he could just very easily be up there again next week and be out of the house. His numbers are dwindling. No one trusts him. It's going to get even worse for him before it gets better.
So Janelle, you said C.
Y'all do whatever you want. It's fine.
Oh no. I'm calculating this. Janelle said C. Katie's saying bottom D. Or dead in the water.
I didn't say dead in the water.
Like, sorry, bottom D. I'm saying like right here. And then Josie, what are you saying?
I think Cam is in a better spot than him personally.
If I'm basing it solely on this week, then Leah and Cam would have to change. I would put him above Cam simply for the fact that he's gonna get the veto used on him.
All right.
But if he would have asked me like on Friday, he would have been bottom D.
You got lucky that a couple of days passed by. You know, you got lucky that that dinner.
Tucker just wants to make good TV.
I'm here for it. All right.
Ooh, I did. You better start this one.
Nah, I'm not even gonna drag Takor, bro, because Takor is. I've been very vocal about like how I feel like Takor is a little overrated on Twitter, on this podcast. I've been ripped to shreds a lot, and I think it's coming to light, you know. And I hate to say I told you so to a lot of these people, but I told you so. I think Takor made the move for television for fans that I was so excited about. Amazing television. I will thank Takor and Chemo forever for that moment, right? I think Takor is actually a very nice person, great personality. Very bad player, though, in my opinion. I don't think Takor is in a great spot at all. I think I kept saying, if they make this move, great move for Chemo, and it really opens the door for Chemo as a player and gives him a shot at doing something. Takor, though, I know everyone's like, oh, she wasn't included in the Pentagon, and now at the end of the day, they were still looking out for her. And I don't think that it was any beneficiary for her to do that. She even kept saying to Chemo, like, I don't know if this is too early. Like, I don't know if I should be doing this. And I think she was completely right. She knew that this was not the move to make, and she did it anyway. Cool. You made the move, stood on business, cool. The worst thing that you could have did was after the moves, sit in the room, cry, hide from people, not talk game, and allow people like Brooklyn and everyone else to dictate the narrative of what really happened.
Yep.
And since you're hiding and looking guilty, it throws some weight onto it. And now you're in an alliance with Tucker who you don't even like. And now Tucker has all the weight because you refuse to speak your mind, and you let Chemo, who loves Tucker, speak his mind. And it's like Takor is so passive, and it's going to be working to a detriment of her. And I don't think I really think Takor really lost a lot of stock letting Cedric, who was actually looking out for her, go home. You know, I kept saying, even though everyone's like, she's not in the Pentagon, they can't, she has to work against them. Cool, right? But like, not right now. Chelsea, you can't tell me Chelsea, Cam, and Cedric weren't looking out for Takor. They still were. They were trying to keep her for as long as possible. I think they would have kept her over Brooklyn personally, but hey, that's just me.
No.
That's just me. But regardless, I think Takor did such a bad job this week. I'm dropping Takor probably to D. I ain't even gonna hold you. But that's just me. I think Takor has been very overrated. I think she is great with these conversations. She doesn't really act in her best interest. I hate to say this, I'm seeing like a Nicole Anthony in a Cliff Hogg like relationship here, where it's like Nicole Anthony and Takor, great reads, good ideas, but like they just do what their partner wants them to do because they're more passionate and more loudmouthed about it. So I'm personally dropping Takor to D because I don't think the game's over for Takor. She still can easily win, in my opinion, but she just made her life 10 times harder than it needed to be. All she had to do was sit there and eat her food and wait till the time was right, like Andy Heron, but she didn't do it. She wasted all her stock on Cedric, who was trying to look out for her. So I'm dropping her to D. You guys can say what you need to say.
I agree with you, Isaiah, with everything you said. I mean, we were on the same page last week too, talking about Takor and Chemo, and I think this was just not a good decision for her. And I think it could have been, and I think she and Chemo could have taken the reins a little bit and taken power. But I think you're absolutely right, sitting in the room for as long as she did afterwards. And I understand, like, she was very close to Cedric. She really liked him a lot. That was not an easy decision. It was a very difficult decision for her. But like, mourn it at night when you're going to bed. You got to get up. You got to get back to work because Brooklyn is running her mouth in the bathroom and blaming it all on you and Chemo, to Rubina, to everybody that will listen, while you sit on the floor and you're upset about it. And the fact that she's in an alliance with people she doesn't want to work with, she doesn't want to work with them. And she wants to go back to Chelsea. But you made a move against the people that you want to work with. So like, why would they want to come back and work with you? Like, I just don't really.
No logic.
I don't see it. Yeah, there's not a lot. Like, she didn't take the full breadth of this move into consideration. Like, your move is going to have consequences moving forward. You can't just do it and say the move is done. Now we can go back to what was. Like, you can't work with Chelsea and Cam in the same way that you're working with them before. Like, they don't trust you. You totally snaked them. You were the head of the snake, you and Chemo both together. It was a double-headed snake and you two were it. So like, you got to stick with the people you're with now and try and ride it out. And maybe you could do it again down the line and take power back from them. Maybe you could snake Tucker and be at the head of that alliance, but you have to be in it for now and just stick with it. You can't like waffle back and forth. And I just worry she's going to waffle herself right out the door.
I think the move that was done was not good for her game in terms of execution. I understand the whole I'm not in the Pentagon, blah, blah, blah. And a point we've talked about across many seasons is you need numbers. So you really can't let these other people who can be a number for you decimate. And I think Rubina is valuable to them number-wise. And I think they just valued that more than Cedric. which was a wrong read, which is what caused what happened. I think it was absolutely incredible how she just sat in that room and did nothing. She
Mhm.
was like, Chelsea can't even look at me, Brooklyn this, Brooklyn that. I'm like, girl, stand up and talk to them. Like, I don't understand how you do move and you're not really ready to own it. She talks to Chemo and she says, we did that, or she did that, or whatever the quote was, but she didn't own it moving forward. She sat there and she crouched down, and it just really ruined any potential she had trust with Chelsea and Brooklyn, the people she actually wants to work with. Now that she's in a position where she's higher up in the food chain, she's choosing to play a game like she was at the bottom. You're in an alliance, you're having these meetings, voice what you want, say what you want, play the game. And all she does is complain about it to Chemo in close corners. She goes to Chemo, maybe Joseph, and complains about it. And now she feels the same way she felt last week, where she's talking about potentially flipping it because she doesn't like being told what to do. But mama, you didn't voice your opinion. So everyone's thinking that everything's good. And that's exactly what happened with her other allies. And if she keeps going in this path, she's going to ruin it for herself. Like, I don't understand. The best thing she could have done is go up to Chelsea and say, I did this move because you made an alliance called the Pentagon. I was informed by it by Quinn. Create the chaos between other people so that you can be looked like in a better light. She has done no damage control, which is absolutely insane to me. Like, I'm shook. Like, I'm shook
Yeah.
by the lack of initiative. But she will always be someone who can flip the vote. And I have to give her credit for that. There are power players in this place. I think she is lower tier of them, but she is one. Like, I cannot compare her to Leah.
No.
I
can't.
don't think she
simply
could flip the
cannot.
vote anymore.
Yeah, I think she
but
had one, and she
I think
wasted
she
it.
literally, she wasted all her stock. And I like, and I hate that I got to stick up for Quinn. But even with Quinn, it's like Takor kept complaining about like Quinn not doing what they wanted yet. Oh, we're going to tell Quinn how we're feeling. Da, 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 da. And then you didn't do it. And this guy who was obviously so loyal to you and Chemo, you blindside him, and now you lost him completely to the other side. So the people that you want to work with, it's like, imagine this: Takor voices how she feels, and she not only gets to keep Quinn, she gets to keep Chelsea and Brooklyn that she wanted, and she gets to keep the whole Tucker side. And they, she, all you have to do is speak your mind and then go away and just mind your business. But she has a lack of initiative. Sorry, I know I really don't want to rant, and I haven't gotten to rant. I've kept it PG. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to drag Takor because I like I said, I think Takor is cool, but like she completely wasted her ace card, which she should have saved it for later. But Janelle, go ahead. I'm sorry. I know you were pro Takor. How do you
I just
feel
like
about
her
it?
as a person. That's all, guys.
Yeah.
Me too. I like her as a person too.
Me too.
I
think
want
she
to
should.
root for her. I do.
I think that like I said, I'm still sticking on the train of I can't say that the Cedric move was good or bad. But where she lost it is, like all of you said, in the execution after this. I truly feel that if she had done like Josie said and was brutally, blatantly honest, look, y'all had a squad that I wasn't in on. Tucker was a number for your squad, not mine. Rabina was a number for me. Y'all left me out. I felt like I had no choice. I feel like if there was a way that she could have exposed what the truth is, Chelsea's not dumb. She'd have been like, okay, I understand where you were coming from. She probably would have gave her I wish you would have said this before, blah, 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 blah. But I think that if there was a way for which T-Core could have, Chelsea specifically, because I think that's who she would need to earn back to be okay with the three of them. But I think there was a way to which Takor could have presented this that would have been like, okay, I understand. And that relationship wouldn't be totally broken or broke off. And there's a world for which they could still work together. I don't think that's impossible, but I'm not going to argue about her placement. Y'all feel how you feel. But seeing her, I also agree that seeing her lack of initiative was disappointing because, like, girl, get up. And I'm sensitive too. I'd probably be afraid, oh, they'll be mad at me. I'm sure it's a lot harder living in that house, doing something and being nervous about it. So I sympathize with that, but at the same time, you got to put your big girl panties on and start talking, because she needs to open her mouth and speak, and nothing is ever going to go her way. She ain't going to get no traction. She ain't going to get no nothing if she don't say something about what she wants. It's like she has great ideas, terrible execution. And I don't know what to say except for the fact that she needs to open her mouth and speak. You can't just think it and talk about it and blah, blah. Like, people can't read your mind. So I completely understand where you guys are coming from. I need her to open her mouth. That's all. Talk to core. Say what you want.
Me too. To
Where would
someone
you
that's
put
not
her,
chemo.
Gina?
Isn't that the saying, closed mouths don't get fed? And she ain't going to get no plate.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
I would
ate
put her
that.
under Angela. If y'all asking me, I'm putting her under Angela if it was up to me. How you
Wait,
guys
Gina,
feel?
I
where
mean-
would you put Decor?
Somewhere in
Huh?
D. I don't care where, honestly.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I think below Angela probably makes sense because of all of the talking Brooklyn did. I mean, we'll talk about Brooklyn very shortly, but I think, you know, Chelsea's against her. She's like trying hard to save Chelsea, and Chelsea doesn't want to work with her anymore because she burned the bridge. It's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Yeah,
I
I
also
would put her
think
behind
that-
Angela too, probably.
I think
If
Angela and
Chelsea keeps
Rubina have
losing
more
her
weight in their
numbers-
alliance than I just
Sorry,
think
Gina.
Angela and Rubina have more weight. Yeah, I think they have more of a say in their alliance than
Me
Takora
too.
does as well. But that's just me. But
I think
Sorry.
the only way that T-Core and Chelsea repair something game-wise is if Chelsea's numbers
Yeah.
continue to dwindle, because she's not going to have a lot of options. And I heard her say she wouldn't put T-Core up if she won.
Hmm.
That's what Chelsea said. So I think that there's a
Interesting.
world where it could happen, but a lot of stuff has to come to fruition. But we'll see.
I also think because chemo is getting a little more heat for this, long term, it's not great for T-Core if she does make it to the end, because chemo is the face of the move. She won't even really be able to claim it at the end if she does make
Yeah.
it, because so
Yeah.
it's like, even the long term benefits of the move are not really going to benefit her, which sucks because it was exciting. She did what we wanted her to do. It was exciting.
I mean,
It's
it
a
is
shame it was
Chemo's
Cedric, but
move. So it is Chemo's move.
I know. I just don't think she would be able to. It's both of them, and I just don't think that she would be able to claim it as much as chemo can
And
claim
you
it.
know what, Katie? That makes me think, like, I wonder, like, that takes a lot of forethought as a player to be thinking, like, damn, if I scapegoat this move, or if I try to minimize my involvement in this move, how can I really take credit for it later? Because that takes
Yeah.
a lot. Like, if you start thinking about the mechanics of this game, I'm sorry, that's a lot
Mhm.
to have the
Yeah.
forethought on. Like, oh, if I say it like this later, I can't claim it. But sorry, I had to.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Where I'm having difficulty with is I see her in Chemo's game like this. So putting Rubina, who barely escaped above her, to me is a little crazy. Like, I will put her in D, but I would put her first in D because she
I
really
would say
is neck and neck
Rubina,
with
them
Chemo.
doing that to save her is crazy. And like, yeah,
But they didn't do that for her
To
again. Like,
save
that's
her.
they didn't
I
do it
also
to
know that.
save her. They did it in spite. They did it in spite of the fact that they were not in a major alliance, or they weren't in the big.
See, we know that the house doesn't, and perception is reality. She ain't telling nobody nothing.
Yeah, but we're
and
going
they
based
think
off
that
what
this
we
was
know.
complete
No,
for Rubina.
Jesse, can you explain
Flip
what you're
everything.
saying? She did it what? Like, can you explain what you're saying T-Core did? You said she didn't do it. You don't think she did it because...
I think that the move to vote out Cedric was not because of Cedric as a person or Rubina as a player. I simply believe that it was out of spite, for lack of a better word, for the fact that they were not in Pentagon. Like, it's simply because that it just so happened that Cedric, who's a person on the block, did not, like, MJ beat out both Rubina and Cedric. Like, I genuinely don't think this move happens. It just so happens that Mackenzie wins that power. So to me, it's like hard for me to put her above Rubina, and for me, she should be right beside Chemo. Like, to me, they're neck and neck, but Chemo's like Chemo is better at talking to other people, but Cora is less of a threat than Chemo. So to me, it's like they kind of bounce out. Where, like, I'm okay with putting her in D tier, but I would have to put her the first in D tier because to me they're one and the same.
So I think like they would have. See, that's why they would have, to me, or what they said was they would have kept Cedric over MJ. That's why
Yeah.
I'm struggling. They would have kept Cedric over MJ. He only went home. They only hit the Pentagon because it was against Rabina. That's it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't care. Somewhere in
I think
D.
the catalyst of the move was the Pentagon stuff. I just don't think it was worth it for them to save MJ, who wouldn't have had their back. Like, it's a net positive for them to keep Rubina, but like, I don't think it's like MJ. They would have had no benefit from it whatsoever. So I think that's why they wouldn't have done it. Where it's more beneficial for T-Core at least to keep Cedric.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Rubina was right there to win.
Yeah, that was
So
crazy.
right
That combo was crazy.
It
right
was.
there.
Sorry, Bunu.
It's look. So
Whatever. I don't care. Somewhere in D.
I need y'all to care so we can. I need to know.
I would put her. I would. My take is she goes first in D because she's right in hand with Chemo. If you disagree, then
Josie say here. I say here. What other two going?
I'm fine with ahead of Rubina.
I'm fine with that too.
There you go. Boom. All right.
Oh Lord.
Brooklyn.
Here we go.
Listen, we're an hour 34 and 39 of y'all. Like,
We're almost
you know
done.
what I'm saying?
Brooklyn.
Go ahead.
So when she had that little spat with Angela, I was like, oh, because at first I thought she was playing it up, but then I found out she was serious. I was like, she ain't gonna take what's the word I'm looking for? She's not gonna take not confrontation, but somebody doing something against her well. She's not gonna handle it well. And boy, did she tank this. She should have took a page out of Chelsea's book. I cannot believe how horrible she handled this. She soured her relationships with so many people because T-Core and Chemo was talking about we still want to protect Brooklyn and Chelsea. And then Chelsea started, then Brooklyn started opening her mouth. T-Core Chemo. It was them. It's their fault. It's their fault I voted the way I did. They tricked me. I'm like, girl, I just could not believe the level to which she went hard on other people so openly and publicly. And she should have looked at Chelsea and shut the hell up. Like, I just cannot believe. And she really has soured herself towards me because she was moaning and complaining. Where's the courtesy? Why didn't you guys tell me? You could have gave me a heads up. They don't owe you nothing. That's why I wanted T-Core to say, girl, would you tell me about the Pentagon? Maybe I would have if I knew everything, but you're hiding stuff from, like, I really wanted them to tell for no other reason than for Brooklyn to have a seat somewhere. Because she was just on some sort of high horse. I need to know how dare you guys. I just didn't like the way she handled it. I'm not saying she shouldn't be mad, blah, 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 blah. Just the way she handled it just turned me off.
Me too. I'm with you 100%, Janelle. I think she's nasty. I think her true colors are coming out. I think I tweeted the other day that she kind of actually reminds me of Christmas Abbott a little bit. I don't know. I get a little Christmas vibe from her where she's like married mother and whatever, but like then she's just has a really nasty side to her. And I just think that it's coming. It's now that it's out, I don't think she could put it back in. Like you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Everyone's seen her true colors. And I think I don't see how she gets herself out of the situation that she's in right now. Like 99% she's going home unless she wins AI Arena. I think she's just going to be up on the block every week. Like everybody knows that she is the head of the snake. Everybody knows what she's been saying. I think she tanked her position with her reaction to what happened this week. It is a mess. She's a mess. Married mother.
A married mothered mess.
Married mothered mess.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, I want her to go home so bad.
Oh yeah, I can't. She's showing us who she is.
But like,
I
hope she plays up this villainess stuff. Sorry, Josie. I hope she plays it up though. If she does stick around, be your whole self, girl.
I think that I don't blame the reaction. I just blame how long it was. So like, I think initially the moment she looked at Rubina and said, "You're going home," and then she stayed, she had to play that up, which she didn't technically lie. If you think about it, Takor and Chemo never told her that they were flipping the vote. I know that Brooklyn has a lot of game sense. to have known that information and stuck by it and just been like 5 points with a Z or whatever that alliance is called, I'm sticking by you. But they didn't do that. So I think she's entirely valid to kind of like throw Takor and Chemo under the bus and say, I didn't know, and making it vocally clear because she got MJ now sticking behind her, which I don't know if that's a great ally, but it's someone,
No.
it's at least it's someone. I think her execution after the HOH win, it should have been done. Now it's okay. Tucker's HOH. Let's refocus. Let's position. Let's get over it. I think Tucker has a good read on her. So unfortunately, I don't know if there's anything more she could have done. But in terms of vote, she should have just laid off. Chemo and Takor flipped. Yes, it's upsetting. Yes, let's talk to them. Let's not just say it's a game, but then do otherwise to make your actions and your words not align. I definitely think she's going home unless she wants to be Arena. And I don't want to count her out yet. But it's going to be a long way up. I think her best bet is to take Tucker out of the house. If Tucker leaves the house, which I don't know if she'll actually do because she told Tucker and Rubina she's going after Angela. I don't know if that's true or not. God knows. But I think her
How's
best
that going to
bet is
help her
remove
at all?
Tucker. Okay, here's why. Because if her and Chelsea end up saying, because if Chelsea,
No, I mean, how is going after Angela going to help her?
Oh, okay.
Like
I
in
don't
her
know why
mind.
she thinks that. But
Yeah.
if she gets rid of Tucker, Rubina
That
can
makes
go
sense,
back
yes.
to her.
Yeah.
And then if Chelsea stays, that's a 3. MJ is clearly aligned with her, and we can revamp the potential of a girl situation. I'm not saying girls alliance, but a girl situation. So I don't want to put her in dead in the water. But it wasn't a good week.
Yeah, for me, I personally don't really care about like Brooklyn talking shit. I feel like I'd be doing the same thing. I ain't gonna hold you. And I feel
Same.
like everyone also is just like mad at her because it's that people that they like. Like if she was talking shit about Quinn or Kenny, I think everyone would be laughing and say, "Yeah, get him." But since it's about people that everyone likes, everyone's like upset about it. I think Brooklyn's game though on the game side is bad. Unfortunately, I think she was in a great spot. Unfortunately, again, Chemo and Takor did what they did. And I think the big mistake she made was telling Rubino before the vote that she was going to vote her out. Shouldn't have done that. And yeah, like I said, I don't mind a blow up. I think it is what it is, but like it lasted the whole week. Like, come on, So I'm dropping her down to D as well, personally. But I'm not going to put her. I'll probably put her. Right,
she should go behind Leah because she's going home this week unless there's a miracle.
If she does survive, and let's say her side wins the power, then
I think we could re-rank her next week. But this week she's about to walk out the door.
My criteria has always been like how I see the trajectory of someone's game if they survive next week. So like, I love what you like. I'm gonna drop her probably down to like around like Quinn because like I see her and Quinn around the same area. But I'm not going to say she's dead in the water right now. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. But
I just think it's I think it's Leah's not on the block.
Especially if Chelsea goes
Brooklyn's
on the block.
About to walk out the door.
I see Chelsea going home before Brooklyn.
Personally. No way, no chance.
We
like Chelsea. Nobody likes Brooklyn.
We said this about Cedric last week. We don't know. I think people have been clocking that Chelsea's a good player, and I think a lot of people like Joseph have clocked that she's a good player. And if she's on the block, I'm not passing up an opportunity. So I'm going to say
I don't think Chelsea's going home.
I'm going to say behind Quinn personally.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm with you, John. I'm with you.
What it is. How about you, Josie? If I'm outvoted, I'm outvoted. But that's how I'm voting.
If I don't disagree with you, Isaiah, but I think we might have to change people around. I think Takor, Rubina, Angela, Quinn, Leah, then Cam. And then I would put Brooklyn behind Cam. That's how I would view it because you were right, 80. You're right.
I'm gonna just put her at the bottom there.
I just think if we're ranking on this week, like we've said multiple times, she's very likely leaving this week. If she's still here next week, we can move her up if she's here.
Yeah.
But this week, she's in a really bad spot, the worst spot in the entire house. She's probably
Hey, if
leaving.
I'm outvoted, I'm outvoted. I mean, it's just two
I
spots.
think- I
so,
think-
I don't
I
really
think-
care much, but
I think if Brooklyn doesn't go home, Cam goes home, which is why I think Leah needs to be
Yeah.
above Cam.
Yeah, I agree, Josie.
I agree.
all right, we can do that.
Work.
All right.
Janelle was. I said Janelle. Josie was on a mission. She was like, I need Cam to be lower.
It's
All
not
right.
about Cam, it's about
Chelsea.
logistics.
I want to go.
I
Can I go
think-
to Chelsea?
Sure.
All right. I think that Chelsea's position has obviously changed, but I think a lot of for me, a lot of Chelsea's position changing is because of outside things that happen, not because of something she necessarily did wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like all these things happen and it put her at the bottom and it potentially hitting the block, but it isn't a direct cause of something that she did. So if she goes down, I think she should naturally go down because she could hit the block, but I don't think it should be a ton. And I still think she has legs. It just next week is really going to be telling for her if she stays this week. I don't think she's going to go. I think both of those people would go ahead of her. There are people that still, Takora, Chemo, and Joseph are all speaking up for Chelsea. So
I disagree. I'll put Chelsea behind Tucker.
That's fine,
And
but-
I do
wow.
blame Chelsea a little bit because I think Chelsea did something which is include Quinn in like most of her alliances that were important, which is like why when Takora is right there. And I don't think Quinn garnered the type of respect
Yeah.
or weight. What?
But he did. But she included Quinn like early, like before she knew Quinn was
Okay.
this Quinn.
And Quinn was
You
active.
can't-
Secor wasn't.
You can't
Can't
make
really blame her
other,
for that.
but if they have and I keep saying this, y'all making a black alliance, but then you have a bunch of subgroups
weren't.
with
I don't think
every
they
black
were.
person.
I don't really think they did
Barb.
that.
I don't think they made the Black Alliance.
They just said they're
didn't-
looking
they
out for
sit
each
down
other.
and they looking out, right? They said they were
Yeah.
looking out, right? So let's make a bunch of alliances with Cedric and Cam, but not have Takor. But I'm still trying to work
She
with
said
Takor.
Takor. She said, "What is it?"
And then
What's
you
it
have
called?
what was it? Not the Pentagon. What's the other one called?
Yes, the collective.
We're in the
Yes.
collective. Let's have a subgroup of the collective with called the Pentagon and have all the key members except for Takor. I don't know. And then on top of that, Cam is supposed to be one of your biggest, closest allies, and you just spent like a whole week trashing him and dropping his stock down as well. I'm not saying she's bad because she's still up towards the top of the players, but she does deserve some fault. I don't think she's perfect. I think
No,
everybody this
sure.
week has completely shit the bed, and she's included in that. I think that she could have avoided telling Quinn a bunch of stuff and also like trashing Cam's position. That's just me.
Okay, but I'm just saying I wouldn't knock her for aligning with Quinn because she aligned with
I
all
would.
the people early on but she didn't know. Like I would knock her if she did it maybe now.
There's plenty
but
of
when-
people who was like, I don't know about Quinn.
No,
I don't think they
And
said it to
it's
her though. I don't think that information got to her.
Angela
To be
telling
fair.
people that this guy
Well-
has the power. He had the power, but guess what? He could have been using it in our benefit. So let's keep Quinn like let's not take action against Quinn, even though he just got outed for having the power and lying about it.
All I'm
What?
saying is
Her and Brooklyn were actively protecting Quinn, even though he was actively showing that he was distrustworthy. He was trying to get the Pentagon exposed, and they still defended the guy. And then he
They don't
leaked all
know
the
he
stuff to
exposed it.
Chemo, and then now Chemo blew this whole thing up. If they didn't
I don't
give
think she's aware
Quinn
of
all
most
this
of that out
trust,
there.
I agree.
look, and I'm not going to go on a tangent about it. I if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Wait, I have
But
a
I'm
question.
saying
I have a
this
question for
whole
you,
group-
Isaiah.
Go ahead.
My question for you is, are you saying that I could be understanding wrong, but I want to understand what you're saying. You're saying that to me, it seems like you're saying, well, we need to blame Chelsea for Quinn's wrongdoings
Yeah.
I
because
blame
she
everyone
shouldn't
in
have
the
aligned with
Pentagon.
him.
I blame everyone in the Pentagon for continuing to give Quinn information when he was already shown to be disloyal.
What?
Literally,
How are they
Angela
supposed to
blew up Angela blew up the fact that this guy had a power, and he was lying about it to everyone in the group, and
They
they
didn't believe
still
her.
protected. Chelsea and Brooklyn were actively protecting this guy when people were saying that we shouldn't trust him. They were literally saying, "Oh, he only didn't tell us because maybe he was trying to use it for the Pentagon instead of like."
Okay, but
No,
she
he was
already
lying to
aligned with
everybody.
him for a few
Cedric and
weeks,
Cam were
that's what-
literally like, "Yo, this guy Quinn is not trustworthy," and they were literally like, "No, Quinn is trying to work with." He wasn't. They weren't doing it.
I'm talking.
It was literally like a week or two ago. Oh, okay. But like I said, it's not dropping her down too crazy because she's still like what in my book. I would put her like the third best game right now behind Joseph and Tucker. That's not bad, but there's also a good chance that she gets thrown on the block. Everyone's saying that Chelsea's playing the best game and that she can easily get thrown on the block and backdoored. That's not a good shot. You do not want everyone to know that you're playing the best game. That's what I'm saying. And they put so much trust into Quinn, even though he got exposed of lying. So that's all I'm saying. You're stuck with Quinn now, who is still snitching on you guys. He's about to apparently blow up the Pentagon. It's not good, but
Tucker's
she's still
blowing up the
behind.
Pentagon.
I don't
There we go.
understand how
There we go.
you're knocking her for some of the Quinn stuff because a lot of
I'm
that came later.
knocking every single member of the Pentagon, which is why I dropped every member of the Pentagon down, and that's including her. Every member of the Pentagon shit the bed this week.
Maybe somebody else will make it make sense because I don't understand.
You saying that she didn't make no mistakes?
No, I'm not saying that, but you're like.
So
I
what
blame
mistake
her
did she
for-
make in your book?
Hold on. You're saying I blame her for aligning with Quinn and working with Quinn when all.
Yeah, because we're talking about Chelsea right now.
Before she aligned with Quinn before all this stuff happened.
Agree. Remember, I said last week.
But by the time the power got exposed, it was. I think the Pentagon people were like, "Damn, we gotta keep him because he's about to keep us safe this week."
Literally, and don't get me wrong. I don't know if you guys remember last week. I said she's playing the best game now, but I said I see a slow detriment to her game if certain things go wrong. And I even said, I was wrong. But at the time, I said Brooklyn. I put Brooklyn above Chelsea. I've been iffy about Chelsea's game. I still think that she can recover from this, especially if she wins a HOH or something. But I've literally said I'm saying Chelsea now. We're talking about Chelsea, but I've been saying the same thing about every member of that group. That's why Cedric's gone. Like I don't think that this group should have trusted Quinn with all this stuff when Angela literally exposed him and gave them all the building blocks, and they decided to defend him instead of being like Tucker and be like, look, she's not lying. They lost Angela, who wanted to work with their group, to Tucker, and now she's loyal to Tucker, who she can win comps. Like she's not in a we're losing situation. She's still in like one of the better positions out of everyone in the house.
Angela didn't
but her
Tucker did.
All right, so Janelle, what mistake does she make to you in your opinion?
No, but you're saying Angela.
I'm asking.
No, she didn't.
Okay.
She didn't.
What mistakes did Chelsea make? What mistakes did Chelsea make in your opinion?
I don't know, but I'm just trying to correct what you're saying along.
So she didn't. So I'm asking you.
How did Angela expose Quinn? She told about.
Hey, everybody! This guy has a power.
She didn't say that.
Said, oh,
she didn't really do that.
She didn't say it like that.
She didn't do that.
All right. All right. But regardless, she exposed the information that he has a power, and he was lying about it. Everybody in that group, including Cedric, was like, "Hey, do you have a power?" Joseph, "Hey, do you have a power?" No, I don't got a power. I don't got a power. I don't got a power. They learned that he was lying about it and still decided to give him information. And then, I'm so shocked that Chemo turned on us, even though he like this one. But regardless of all that, in my opinion, this is me. But Janelle, to you, do you have any criteria? Do you have any like feedback that you think that she did anything wrong? If you think she just is this perfect play, that's not. You know what I'm saying? Do you think she did anything wrong?
But I can't specifically pinpoint something glaring that Chelsea did for this decline that she's currently in. If you
you don't agree with anything I pointed out. You don't agree with anything I pointed out.
The only thing you really pointed out is that she trusted Quinn when she shouldn't have. That's what you're saying. But,
and then also with the T-Core thing, she didn't even get T-Core and half the stuff.
You include her in the alliance?
Well, the Pentagon was formed. So the thing you pointed out, Isaiah, that the collective was formed before maybe day 2 or 3 or something, and it was not made by Chelsea. She was included in it, and then that blew up. So the collective as a whole was a big question mark, but the Pentagon was then formed. And when that Pentagon alliance was formed, mind you, Takor was not in the original collective either. When the Pentagon was formed, I think it was like some of the leftovers of that, and then they formed the collective again, and then added Chemo and Takor. So that correction is where you kind like that to me is where it's like, well, she picked Quinn. I feel like it was like
Yeah.
I think there was more to it than that. I think the CCC was the
I don't know.
core, and they picked 2 people, and that's what happened. But in terms of Chelsea, like my opinion on it is that I think the fact that she was going to keep Cedric regardless, and it didn't really give Rubina real reason to be mad at her was great for her game. I think she really showed that brother sister relationships. I think the fact that they were microchips or whatever that thing was, I don't even know what that was called. Shout out to Ainsley. Together made it like justifiable for her to like regardless still keep the vote. Because the angle wasn't she didn't vote to keep me. It's like, oh, she just didn't know. I think is a lot of the commentary that was made. I think Tucker has a good insight on the game in terms of players, but I don't think that a lot of people share that sentiment. So if Chelsea does hit the block, she should be the one to go. But will she be the one to go? I do not think so. And I think that's the difference. I think we, as people outside the house, see her value. And I think the only person who really sees her value truly is like Tucker to a degree and then Joseph. But Tucker is set on Brooklyn going and kind of repairing maybe something with Quinn. But I don't know. Quinn's just not actively being good at that situation. And I just see Joseph sees her potentially, but he's not going after her. And again, Joseph's in a position where yes, he's in the alliance, but he will not be calling the shots unless he wants an HOH and he gets to nominate people. So ultimately, I think she is in a worse position than she was. I think that has to do with Quinn. I blame Quinn for a lot. And
How
I
did Quinn get
think
in there?
What?
What'd you say?
How did Quinn get
I
what?
said, how did Quinn get in there?
Well, the reason I blame Quinn is because
He's
he chose
saying
the wrong people to
he
be
let it
loyal to.
out.
Like Quinn should have stuck with the Pentagon and minded his business. Quinn should have shut up and not speak about anything. He should have kept the information to himself. And I think because Chelsea tied her game somewhat to Quinn, his wrongdoings are having an impact on her, like it is on Brooklyn, like it is on Cam, like it did on Cedric. People who believed he was loyal back and forth because he did provide information to them. Regardless, I think she's in a worse position, but I think if Brooklyn leaves, I think she could potentially pivot, but it'll be interesting to see how she plays from the bottom because we've only seen her play from the top.
Yeah.
She's doing okay so far, I think.
I think it all just comes down to like how she reacted to the move in comparison to other people. I think Cam, I mean, does he care? Who even knows? But like the two actual players, Brooklyn reacted abysmally. And I think Chelsea was just like, if you would have just clued me in, I would have thrown him a vote, but like at least I would have known. And then she let it go. Yeah, she's gonna remember it, but like she's not harping on it all week. She's not like the villain behind the scenes. I think she played it off better than Brooklyn did. So I think she's in a better position than Brooklyn. I'm fine, Isaiah, with your ranking between Tucker and Chemo. I might put her behind Joseph and above Tucker because Tucker's still like the biggest target in the house. But I'm fine in either one of those spots with Chelsea. I'm not going to relitigate like week 1 alliance creation. She didn't know who Quinn was at that time, but now it's what is she going to do? What is she going to do with the information moving forward?
All I was saying was
that's what
after you
matters
get
now.
exposed and you still defend the guy who your alliance is telling you we shouldn't trust this guy. Let's keep trusting this guy.
Well, let's see what happens
if they
moving
listen,
forward.
I'm just saying if she listened to Cedric they wouldn't be in this situation. But
Well,
that's
Cedric's
just me.
dumbass volunteered to go on the block on that guy's HOH.
Hey,
So what are we talking
notice
about,
I
Cedric?
said their whole
Cedric
group is
could have went for
stupid.
Quinn, but he did
The
it.
whole group is stupid.
Exactly.
I'm just
exactly.
saying. I'm just saying. I'm not going to BS for certain people. I think some of these people. No, I think all these people have done dumbass shit, and I think Chelsea is not exempt from it.
I agree.
But hey, if we want to pretend that Chelsea did everything perfectly,
Who's saying that? No one's saying that, Isaiah.
not literally.
We're all saying that to move her down, so just move her down, and we could be done.
Oh
we can
yeah,
all go to bed.
absolutely. I'm just saying.
It's Sunday.
I'm just saying,
I gotta go to sleep.
Listen, I feel you. I feel you. Boom. We good. We good. Is this another conversation? What? Does anyone feel differently?
Below Tucker
No.
is okay.
Is he not in the
I'll
power
leave
of the majority
I'm
of lives
fine.
right now?
She's going on the block.
I said it's okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
It just happened so quickly that was my reaction. Like I didn't
Boom.
have time to register.
Here we are at 12:31. So Joseph is now king of the hill. I don't think he'll stay that way, but we'll see how it goes. But there you go. Of this after dark version of Silent Podcast. If you like
In
what you
conclusion,
heard,
I don't think we're
Thumbs
doing
up.
this ever again.
yeah, if you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe. All right. Josie, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at JosianXNM, JOSIANEXNM. You guys, the Love Island reunion is happening tomorrow. Potentially me and Katie will go on Just So Damn Messy to cover that. We'll see. We'll talk. We'll kiki. But I will be tweeting about it. So if you're down with the get down, let me know. I'm here talking about Big Brother. I did Kenny's interview. It hasn't been live, but who cares about Kenny? I don't know. Like, will that go up? Stay tuned. If not,
listen.
well, it exists.
Okay. Listen. Janelle, where can people find you?
Oh, I'm just Janelle Michaud everywhere. I'll be talking to Cedric tomorrow, unless Katie or Josie, you guys are free also if you'd like. And that's it. Just tweeting about the season. So you can find me.
All right, Katie, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RealSimKatie. That's it.
All right. I exist. You can find me here. All right. Everyone, have a good
We're happy
one.
to be here.
I'm happy to
We
be
love
here.
and appreciate you guys.
Oh, no, this is
Thank you for
great.
tuning in.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you guys for coming out. Of course, obviously.
Thank you all in the chat for hanging out and chatting and being
Shout out,
active.
chat.
Yeah.
Shout out
We
people
We
who,
appreciate all your insight and the
Yes,
laughs.
sir.
You give us laughs.
anyone who watches in the future as well. We appreciate y'all for watching. But until next time, have a good one. Bye.